Here's our pal, Jesse Rogers, covers both those teams well. I've known him forever, does a great job. Jess, nice to have you with us. And the White Sox, boy, oh boy, they walked in at Cleveland and got swamped by the Guardians, who had a rough series against the Giants prior to the White Sox visit. Then they go to Minnesota, and the Twins haven't done a thing, and they got the Twins right. They couldn't hit, made a million errors, and then Hendricks throws a million pitches, and Buxton hits a home run. That is as bad a week as you're going to have for Tony La Russa. Help me out. Let me hear.
Yeah, Chris, you didn't even mention they lead the league in errors after the week that they just had. They lost two guys to injury. One, Luis Robert, will be back this week, hopefully. The other, Eloy Jimenez, is starting to look like a little bit of an injury-prone player. We can talk more about him later. And their star shortstop, who everybody loves, flipped the Cleveland Guardian fans and got suspended for a game. And then they went out and lost 6 in a row. So, yeah, quite the change for them. They started out 6-2. Now have lost 7 overall in a row, including all 6 on that road trip. Nothing going right. Need a reset. Tony La Russa needs to step up with that experience and calm things down a little bit. They have 18 errors so far. Just for comparison, Chris, the Padres made their first error of the season yesterday. So a lot going wrong right now on the south side, but it is certainly still very early in the season.
And Anderson's made a lot of errors, too. They've had a million injuries. Boy, what can explain the injury bug? All right, Jimenez is injury-prone. I buy it. But, you know, Lance Lynn got banged up. Giolito was out for a little while. They've had a million guys. Robert, you just mentioned. How comes, and as it turns out, you know, guys like Abreu are not hitting either. So why the injury issue there, Jess? What's up with that? Let me hear.
Well, it is 2 years in a row. Rick Hahn, the GM, has spoken on this issue. They've changed up some of their training. They think some of it's flukish, which, of course, I think it is. Maybe it's related to the shortened spring training, but everybody else is in the same boat as well. But I do think there's something to the Eloy Jimenez situation. I go back to his days in the minors, and I had heard that he might have one of those bodies that's a little bit injury-prone, whether it be tissue, muscle, whatever the case may be. That was 5-6 years ago I heard this about him. It's coming to fruition. So, Chris, I think they have to consider making him the full-time DH. Now, he got hurt on the base pass, but at least if you take him off the field, last year was out in left field during spring training when he got hurt. You make him the full-time DH, but that's going to change some things around. Right now, they like Yasmani Grandal as a DH. But either way, Eloy's out for a couple months at this point. I don't think it's necessarily something regarding their training, though nobody can know for sure. It's a couple years of some bad flukish injuries. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. But, yeah, they're behind the 8 ball right now.
And when are we going to see Moncada play? I know he's got some issues swinging the bat left-handed. When is he going to go out there and play some baseball? What's up with him?
Yeah, he's getting a little bit closer. He hurt himself on, like, the final day of spring training, a little hip thing going, oblique kind of thing. But, it's hard to know when exactly he'll be ready. Those things tend to linger, but he's certainly getting a little bit closer at least. That's the good news there. So as you lose guys, maybe you get some guys back. But, man, they have not had a healthy team in 2 seasons. So I know they're going to keep looking at things internally. But they already did that last offseason, and they made some adjustments. But these injuries keep popping up.
And you got to give them a little credit. I mean, I got to give them a little break. I mean, they have been playing in freezing weather. I mean, Cleveland, Minnesota, at Detroit. I mean, you got to be fair. I mean, they played. Tampa was cold. I mean, they played a game over 65 degrees yet in the start of the season. I'm not sure if they have, Jesse. Have they? You tell me.
I'm not sure either, but I'll tell you what. They're back in Chicago. It's still April in Chicago, Chris. This week is no better. Maybe this coming weekend will be a bit better. They had a little respite over the weekend. The Cubs had good weather, but the Sox have not had it. So you're right. That contributes to some things. And look, it was just a week ago they were 6-2. So as soon as you go 6-9, you can go back and be 15-9 in a week. So it's a long year cover. They have the most talent in the division. They're just going to be a little bit pushed here early on. They're certainly not going to run away with anything in the first month or two here, I don't think.
And a bad sign for the Cubs. You win one game 21-0, 3 touchdowns, good defense, and then the next day you lose 4-3. I mean, that to me is a sign of a team that's going to, it's 75, 76 wins. You hate that when you score 21 one game and then you come back out a day later and you can't, win a one-run game against the Pirates. That to me is a bad sign, Jess. Let me get your take there. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, let's look at it a little bit further back. They lost 3 of 4 to the Pirates at home, and the only victory was 21-0. They outscored them by 17 and still lost 3 of 4. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a ceiling to the Cubs this year, 75 to 80. But I do like what Jed Hoyer's doing in terms of some sort of a transition to the next winning team. First off, they lead the league in OPS, Chris. Now, they played 4 games in Colorado, but that's nothing to shake a stick at. They lead the league in OPS. That's pretty good. I should say they lead all of baseball in OPS. There are some makings of a good contact hitting team there. They have the odds-on Rookie of the Year favorite right off the bat. Seiya Suzuki's look good, but they do have a ceiling because they don't have enough power. They probably don't have enough depth on their pitching staff. But the core guys that are going to be here for a few years are performing well and do have a higher ceiling. So I do like what Jed Hoyer's doing. It's just not going to manifest itself in a playoff season this year.
And Stroman's pitched poorly for a guy making a ton of money. How about him for a sec, Jess? Let me hear.
Yeah, his mechanics off. That could be a result of the shortened spring training. He looked really good early in spring training, but he's a guy, smaller guy. If his mechanics are just off a little, he's going to miss his spots. And that's what I'm seeing. He's just missing his spots. The Cubs are saying the same thing. So maybe another start or two in between, you do your work and eventually locks in. But you're right. They need him. If they have any shot at all to just be on the edges of the wild card race. He is making a lot of money. He really is their number 1 or 1A with Kyle Hendricks. It has not performed that way.
Good job there, Jess. We check in throughout the year. Thanks for some help today. Appreciate it very much.
You got it, Chris. Good seeing you.